My dear Theo, there's something on my mind that I want to tell you. Perhaps you already know something about it, and what I'm about to say isn't news. I've come to fall in love. So much that it's as if she were the closest person to me, and as if I were the closest person to her. I said these words to her, but when I told her, she replied that her past and her future were all one and the same, and that she couldn't return my feelings. I find myself in an awful dilemma. A dilemma about what to do, to resign myself and regard the matter as over and done with, or to take courage and not yet give up. I've chosen the latter. And now I mean to leave no stone unturned in my endeavors to bring me closer to her. And I declare that I shall love her so long that in the end she will love me too. Theo, aren't you in love too? Sometimes? I wish that you were, for believe me, the petty miseries of it are also of some value. Theo, don't think it rash or reckless of me that I'm full of enthusiasm for the victory of love. Not that I've already got it, or that she already loves me, but I'm pursuing it as if I might win her. I'm very glad that I love because I've acquired a great appetite for life. My life and my love are one. So with this, I feel calm and clear. And this has had an influence on my work. I've drawn and painted more and more. And because of love, I'll succeed. Not that I'll become something extraordinary, but in fact something very ordinary. And by ordinary, I mean that my work will be sound and reasonable, and I will have a reason to exist. I will be able to serve some purpose. I think that nothing sets us down in reality as much as true love. And that's why I now wish that you too would fall in love. You must definitely write to me, if you haven't already done so, especially when you've received and read this letter. Your loving brother, Vincent. P.S. I just found a stamp in my pocket. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even been able to send this letter. It's a time of struggle for both me and you, but I believe that we're progressing. So let's keep our spirits up. Adieu, with a handshake. March 2nd. My dear brother, Theo, I don't know what else I can do. You know my circumstances and that my living or not living depends on your help. But I'm caught in a dilemma. If I reply to your letter, yes, Theo, you're right, then I'll give up my chance of love, committing myself to something terrible. To express the love I felt in the past, I said it plainly. I was told no, never. And that wasn't enough to make me give her up. I still had hope. And I approached it like it was a block of ice that would melt. And through that, my love remained strong. I am truly attached to her. And she to me. She's my loyal helper who goes everywhere with me. And who becomes more indispensable to me each day. I want to marry her. And as soon as possible. I want to discuss this matter with you in person before anything is said to Pa. I want to go through the domestic joys and sorrows myself so that I can draw from that experience. I feel that in the past, my love, truly honest and strong, has been literally beaten to death. Yet after death, one rises from the dead. I found love, and there was no time to hesitate or delay. Action was required. This time things are different, and we understand each other. I'm writing to you while sitting at a window, looking out at a courtyard. I've drawn it twice, once large and once smaller. Last winter you wrote to me about my watercolors, which satisfied you in terms of color and tone. And you said something like, if you kept that up. Well, you'll see that I very definitely kept it up. and that which you found in those watercolors has been strengthened quite a lot in what I've painted since. I've completed a figure of a weaver standing next to a loom, and behind him you can see the machine. And I'm working on a landscape of the pond at the bottom of our garden. I'm also retouching some studies from last summer. Anyway, I'm working from morning until night. Please pardon me for the abrupt ending to this letter. I'm tired. But I wanted to write anyway. Good handshake. And if it doesn't put you out too much, please, let me have some canvas soon. Ever yours, Vincent. April 20th. My dear Theo, thanks for your letter, and thanks for the enclosure. Now listen here. What you write is all very well and good. And as far as Fuss is concerned, I want to propose that we just let the subject of marriage rest for a while and postpone speaking about it until a time that I'm earning around 150 francs a month for selling my work. So until the drawing business is going so well and I begin to earn, you can gradually begin to send less. And then when you stop sending money altogether, perhaps we can go back and revisit the subject of marriage. But now, in the meantime, it would be quite absurd to think after all that has happened in the recent months to detach or part from her. We are chained and tied to each other by a strong bond of sincere affection and through the help we give each other. For, if I may put it this way, she's also my associate in work. Infinitely more than just an ordinary model because she's so willing and intelligent as far as posing goes. So for the present, we must combat the difficulties with money as calmly as possible. And day by day, I hope that you'll view things with a greater peace of mind, especially after what I've told you now. I now feel so much new pleasure in my work. So much pleasure that I have a hope of making good progress again this autumn. Perhaps towards Christmas, thus when the year is up, I'll send you small watercolor paintings. I feel a strong desire to paint. A very strong desire and ambition. Especially now that the better light and the better studio automatically put the ideas in my mind. I just hope, Theo, that what I've said about marriage will make you see that I don't demand to have my own way in everything. And then I'll go along with you in whatever you think as far as I can. But also see this as proof that I deserve to have your respect. There are people who say to me, "What were you doing getting involved with her?" And there are people who say to her, "What were you doing getting involved with him?" Apart from that, both she and I have enough sorrow and enough trouble, but regret, neither of us. I can't get on with the others, but with you, I feel like I can talk and I can reach a compromise. I certainly know that for sure now she loves me. I believe her, and I believe that she has been sincere. Has it also been crazy? Perhaps it has. But wise people who never do anything, that's crazy. Aren't they even crazier in my eyes than I in theirs? There is love between her and me, and promises of mutual loyalty. There may be no tampering with this. For Theo, this is the holiest thing that there is in life. Her wish and mine is that matters shouldn't take a dramatic turn. We're too full of a new zest for life, too full of a desire to work and to plow on. She and I are two unfortunates who keep each other company and bear the burden together. And it's in that way that unhappiness is turned into happiness, and that unbearable is made bearable. Anyway, a letter from you would of course give me great pleasure at the moment. Adieu, with a handshake. And wishing you as much good fortune as one could deal with. Your loving brother, Vincent. June 18th. My dear Theo, you're quite right to ask why I haven't replied to your letter yet. I did indeed receive the letter with 150 francs enclosed, so thank you for that. Something has happened, Theo. Something that which most of the people here know nothing about. To tell you everything, I would have to write a book, and I can't do that. My love has taken poison. In a moment of despair, when she had spoken to her family about her love for me, they spoke ill of us, and she became so upset that she took poison. I'm certain that she did it in a moment of definite mania, but we were walking alone the other morning when she fell to the ground. I only thought it was a little weakness from her being upset, but it got worse and worse. Cramps. She lost the power of speech and mumbled all sorts of only half-comprehensible things, and then collapsed with all sorts of convulsions. Suddenly I was suspicious and yelled, "Have you taken something?" And she screamed, "Yes." She wanted me to swear that I would never tell anyone, and I told her, "I'll tell no one on the condition that you vomit that stuff up right away. You stick your finger down your throat and you vomit right now, or I'll tell the others. I'll call for them right away." The vomiting only half worked. Theo, it was strychnine that she took. She's in good hands now. Still, you'll understand how depressed I am because of all of this. Just 3 days before, I warned her brothers that I feared that she would have a nervous breakdown. She would often say to me when we were taking a quiet walk or something, I wish that I could die now. What sort of a position is it for her family to push her to? And what sort of a religion is it that these respectable people subscribe to? Oh, they're simply absurd things. And they make society into a sort of madhouse, into an upside-down, wrong world. All that mysticism. Do you understand that these last few days, everything has passed through my mind, and I was absorbed in this sad, sad story. She's tried this, and she has not succeeded. I think she's had a shock that she won't likely try for a second time. A failed suicide is the best remedy for suicide in the future. I fear that there will be repercussions. Theo, old chap, I'm so upset by it. Do drop me a line, because I am speaking to no one here. I do. Vincent. August 9th. My dear Theo, I just received your letter. Thank you for the sympathy and thanks for the traveling money. I don't think I've ever received money with more gratitude than that money from you, because it was so unbearable to think that without it I wouldn't have been able to go. I wanted to drop you a line and say that I've been to Utrecht myself to see my love. That I had a talk with the doctor she's staying with, and especially to get his advice on what I should do or what I shouldn't do in the interest of the patient's health and for our future. I'm wanting no other advice than a physician's on this question. Although she is getting better, there are two dangers. That one, she's too weak to marry. And that two, she just couldn't bear a parting. Once some time has passed, I'll get a definite idea as to what's best for her, for me to part or not part from her. Obviously, I'll always remain friends with her, but in any case, perhaps we're mutually too attached. Your letter to me crossed mine, in which I told you I decided to carry on working regularly, feeling well or not. Well, it's what I've done, and I feel fine. Though I have had more work to do to keep it up. But the work itself makes me much more clear-headed. Painting went better again today. The first two studies went wrong. Today's is the head of a young girl. As for color, its contrast of bright red and pale green against the color of the little face, well, there's already a head like it amongst those you took with you. I'd like to hear more sometime about whether those rolled up ones arrived safely. Oh, and if Uncle meant it when he asked for some sketches or the heads of children, I could send him one that I did today. Anyway, I have a few paintings that I promised you ready, but they're not completely dry yet. They were painted in a dark cottage in their studies in the true sense of the word. I work hard. Suppose that only 1 in 10 or 20 of these studies that I make have something that makes them worth the trouble of looking at. Those few, although they're worth nothing now, may very well be later. Well, old chap, thanks for everything. A handshake in thought. I'm going to start work now. Give Pa and Ma my warmest regards and thank them ever so much for what they have given you to give to me. And tell them I'll write soon. Adieu. Enjoy yourself. And have a safe return back to your work. Regards, Vincent. September 19th. Dear brother, because I have a need to speak frankly, I can't hide that I'm overcome by a feeling of great despair, and I can find no consolation in it. Do you know what I've done? I had a quiet day with my love. I talked with her for a great length. I fully explained that I foresaw that if I stayed with her, I soon wouldn't be able to take care of her, and that would grow into great debt. Well, it's so clear that it's impossible for me to carry on. And she understands. And so our agreement is that we would be making it worse by staying together. So in short, she and I must be sensible and part as friends. For my part, I'll also make a straight path for getting on my feet. I must work hard, and you should too. That's what I said to her. Oh, brother, you see, we wouldn't have parted if we didn't absolutely have to. Knowing what was to come, I wish that somehow our talk could have lasted forever. In the end, I felt that staying together in the future was ruled out. We'd make each other unhappy, she said. And with that, I went out the door. I went out the door a long, long way away to talk to nature for a while. Adieu. I wish you pleasant days and assure you that whatever the future may bring, I continue to hope that later days will be more pleasant. Vincent. October 27th. My dear brother, I sometimes think with great melancholy about that woman. If only she were looked after. Oh, it's her own fault, one could say. And it would be true, but I fear that her misfortune will be greater than her guilt. Well, I knew from the outset that her character was a ruined character, but I had hopes for her getting on her feet, and now, precisely when I don't see her anymore, and I think about the things I saw in her, I increasingly come to realize that she was already too far gone. And that just makes my feelings of pity even greater. And it's a sad feeling because it isn't in my power to do anything about it. Theo, when I see some poor woman walking down the street, my heart melts. I see her in them. Her weakness and slovenliness only serve to intensify the likeness. How much sadness there is in life. I don't know whether I'll be happy with a woman in the future. Maybe I won't. But I certainly will not be perfect. But happiness is not what we're accountable for. We're accountable for the extent to which we follow our conscience. Adieu. Please, write soon. Vincent. December 17th. Dear Theo, thanks for your letter and thanks for the money. Assuming that what you say is true, that you started to write me repeatedly but didn't get around to finishing the letter, well, I'm in the same position, since I've already thrown what I wrote to you in the stove twice, because I felt that it was either too bitter or too tame. I visited Noonan. I saw a portrait of the woman I once loved. The portrait had been taken some time after she left. Was she diminished in it? No! Only more interesting! For myself these days, I sometimes suffer distress that makes me ill. Theo, I have experienced such great sadness this year. So be it. I see that some theories about love and life don't always produce the results that one would say that it promises to produce. The theory that promises that once you've attained a position and can maintain a certain status, then you'll find a wife and children and domestic happiness. Well, this is a fine promise society makes, right? But does society also keep that promise? Society leaves everyone disappointed. I thought you might be curious to know that I'm getting on with my painting studies. I do wish that you could be back in the studio with me for just an hour. That would be the only true way to show you how it's turned out. But since, of course, that is impossible, I just want to say that I have 2 painted studies. One of a row of pollard willows in the meadow, then a study of a cinder road close to my neighborhood. You don't know how paralyzing it is. That blank stare from a blank canvas that says to the painter, you can't do anything. The canvas has an idiotic stare. An idiotic stare that mesmerizes some painters so that they turn into idiots themselves. Many painters are afraid of the blank canvas, but the blank canvas is afraid of the truly passionate painter who dares and who has broken the spell of you can't. Oh, Theo, why should I change? In the past, I was very passive and very gentle and quiet, but not anymore. I tell you, if one wants to be active, one mustn't be afraid to do something wrong sometimes. Not afraid to lapse into some mistakes. To be good, many people think that they'll achieve it by doing no harm, and that is a lie. That leads to stagnation. That leads to stagnation and mediocrity. At any rate, I hope to go on and keep well away from melancholy and pessimism, meanwhile working hard and proving that I have the heart of a painter. You will understand when I tell you. that to work and to be an artist, one needs love. Someone who strives for feeling in his work must first feel and live with his heart. I need love. I need love and its influence to reach a higher artistic level. Well, without her, I am nothing. But with love, there's a chance. Living, working, and loving are all actually one and the same. Eating and drinking and sleeping, it isn't enough. That one yearns for something nobler and higher indeed. One simply can't do without it. That higher thing that I can't do without is love. I won't let anything in this world deter me from love. May God help me with this. Well, good night, old chap. With a firm handshake. And please, write soon. Yours truly, Vincent.